What's up, Variant Nation? Over the past couple of weeks, we have been giving the spotlight to several of the key characters that are set to appear in the Captain Marvel movie. Well, the MCU's new Captain makes her debut this weekend, so today we're giving her the floor with a look at some of the alternate versions of Captain Marvel to appear in comics over the years. But with the introduction of Captain Marvel marking the beginning of a new era for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, we asked our friend Comic Tom and the team over at Mystery Mail Call if they would partner with us on a giveaway. And they did not disappoint. To celebrate this momentous occasion, 3 of you lovely people are gonna get an original first print of Ms. Marvel issue 1 from 1977, which is the very first appearance of Ms. Marvel. I mean, come on. To enter for a chance to win one of these beauties, just head over to variantcomics.com/giveaways and fill out the entry form. Then follow us on either Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. Links for everything is gonna be in the description below, and you have through Sunday, March 10th to enter, so jump on it right away. Now, if you're wondering how on earth we're able to do such an amazingly awesome giveaway, you have to check out the Mystery Mail Call Comic Book Monthly subscription box. We honestly don't know how they do what they do, but every month these guys put together epic boxes with titles and issues valued much higher than what you pay. Not to mention, every box comes with a chance at that month's rare and high value comics, like Ms. Marvel issue 1, the first appearance of Wolverine, and the first appearance of Harley Quinn, just to name a few. We'll throw their link in the description, so definitely be sure to sign up for the giveaway, then check them out. With that covered, let's talk some Captain Marvel. As always, we have to kick this off with the main and original version of the character, and in this case, that would be Mar-Vell, who made his debut in Marvel Superheroes issue 12 in December of 1967. Mar-Vell was a captain of the Kree military who was sent on a mission to Earth to infiltrate and see how much of a threat the human race was to the Kree. But while on Earth, Mar-Vell was like, these humans aren't so bad, and ended up protecting them from an attack by the Kree. In doing so, it would be his first step to becoming the protector of the universe, known as Captain Marvel. Now, unfortunately, he would die from cancer sometime later. But this leads us to our next version, Carol Danvers, who's the current Captain Marvel. Carol Danvers is a great fighter pilot and a former CIA agent. She would eventually be hired by NASA to head their security. And one of her co-workers at NASA was Dr. Philip Lawson, who was secretly the alien Kree, Mar-Vell. Long story short, the two became friends, and one day Rog, looking to destroy Mar-Vell, kidnapped Carol. This, of course, led to a battle between Rog and Mar-Vell, which in turn caused Rog's psyche magnetron to explode. Mar-Vell was able to grab Carol and shield her from the machine's deadly radiation, but in doing so, Carol absorbed a bunch of Mar-Vell's own genetic template. Mix that with Carol's pure desire to stand with Mar-Vell as an equal instead of a helpless human, and it sparked something within her which made her DNA become a perfect combination of Kree and human genes. So after Carol recovered from her injuries from the explosion, she realized she had gained the same powers possessed by Captain Marvel. So she donned a costume similar to that of Captain Marvel and became Ms. Marvel, an incredibly powerful superhero in her own right. Then years later, after Mar-Vell's death, she would become his successor as the new Captain Marvel. And of course, this is the very version of the character that will be officially introduced in the MCU this weekend. Look out for my review Saturday morning. #shameless plug. The next obvious version of Captain Marvel to talk about is Ultimate Captain Marvel. I personally think this is the coolest looking Captain Marvel design, and it's even the design they used for Captain Marvel on the Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes cartoon. In this take, he's a renegade Kree soldier who had been surgically altered to look just like a human, so that when he was sent to Earth by the Kree on an observation mission, he would blend in and be able to observe its destruction by the ultimate version of Galactus. But instead of observing like he was supposed to, he instead decided to help the humans, which is a very similar origin to the original 616 Captain Marvel. All around, this is one of my favorite takes on the character. But next, we have Earth X Captain Marvel. In a nutshell, this Captain Marvel is very similar to the main 616 Mar-Vell. However, he's from Earth 9997, or Earth X. In his universe, Mar-Vell led an army of dead heroes and villains to fight Thanos and Death, which is probably one of the coolest sentences I'll say all episode. Anyway, Mar-Vell would end up convincing Thanos to use the ultimate nullifier on Death. And once he does and Death is no more, Mar-Vell makes a paradise in the negative zone for the dead. But when Mar-Vell realizes that the living are no longer able to die and all those sick people were just suffering in the hospitals, he restores Death itself after defeating it. Then there's Earth 23099 Captain Marvel. In this universe, Mar-Vell is part of the Illuminati and a wielder of the power cosmic. But he didn't last long and died by the hands of the Black Priests when they invaded their Earth, who just so happened to be in the middle of an incursion with another universe they had already destroyed. Next on our list is Earth 58163, and/or House of M Captain Marvel. In the House of M universe, Captain Marvel died during the Kree-Skrull War while fighting besides Magneto in the rest of the Earth's heroes. But of course, we couldn't be without Captain Marvel, so in his memory, Ms. Marvel aka Carol Danvers became the new Captain Marvel, and is one of the few non-mutant heroes to be successful. Moving right along, we have Ruins Captain Marvel from Warren Ellis's 2-issue miniseries. This 2-part story deals with a dystopian alternate universe where everything that can go wrong will go wrong. In it, we see that Mar-Vell is one of the several Kree prisoners in a Kree reservation in Nevada. The reservation or concentration camp was purposely set on top of a nuclear test site. This included the Kree spokesperson Mar-Vell, whose face was peeling and pussing. Mar-Vell even made the comment that you could smell his bones rotting. It's pretty nasty. Mar-Vell would eventually give an interview to Daily Bugle reporter Phil Sheldon asking why the Kree invasion of Earth failed. He tells the reporter how their ship was made vulnerable to a nuclear strike when their cloaking and shielding was disabled by cosmic radiation being given off by a dead Silver Surfer. Because of this, the Kree ship fell to Earth. Once on Earth, the Kree were placed in the aforementioned concentration camps to slowly die as there were aliens who were gonna invade Earth. This definitely isn't a happy take on the character. Anyway, let's move on. Next up is the original Marvel Zombie series take on Captain Marvel. With that said, there's not too much to say about him in this series. He appeared as a zombie in a handful of panels where a bunch of zombie heroes and villains led by Iron Man started attacking Silver Surfer. In this attack, Captain Marvel amongst others were killed by Surfer. Again, not much more to say. Now, you all should know by now I love talking about Amalgam Universe characters when I do these alternate versions episodes. And of course, there's an Amalgam character for Captain Marvel, and his name is Captain Marvel. And that's because, obviously, he's an amalgamation of Marvel's Captain Marvel and DC's, aka Shazam. His real name is Billy Mar-Vell, and he's actually a young boy. When Billy yells the word Kree, he transforms into a super scientifically enhanced adult hero named Captain Marvel. His costume is also green and silver, reminiscent of Mar-Vell's original costume, and he has a lightning bolt on his chest like Shazam. I just love the Amalgam Universe. I think it's so much fun how they literally just take half of a character's mythos and mash them together. But let's keep this Captain Marvel train rolling. Next up is Cancerverse Captain Marvel. In the Thanos Imperative comic, Captain Marvel, or as he's called in the series, Lord Mar-Vell, is the main antagonist. Now, the main spin on this version of the character is unlike the 616 version. Mar-Vell plotted with, check this name out, the Many-Angled Ones, who are a race of eldritch abominations that live in the spaces between realities. Honestly, sometimes I just feel like writers are high when they're coming up with this stuff. Anyway, he would use the Many-Angled Ones to survive his cancer, unlike the 616 Mar-Vell, who died from it. But how did he use them to survive his cancer? Well, they combined their strength to capture Thanos, then kill Death via a sacrifice of its avatar. Not that one. James Cameron would be very upset. There's a lot more to it, but that's the dumbed down version. The main point is that this is an evil version of Captain Marvel who goes by the name Lord Mar-Vell. And the last version of Captain Marvel I'm going to mention today is the Age of Ultron crossover event Captain Marvel. This crossover event is set in an apocalyptic future where Ultron has returned and has conquered Earth. Because of this, some villains do as Ultron says in exchange for more privileges, while most heroes live underground thinking of a way to defeat him. As for Captain Marvel, when Hank Pym is killed by a time-traveling Wolverine to prevent the creation of Ultron, Janet Van Dyne becomes Captain Marvel in an alternate timeline created by Pym's death. This Captain Marvel was also a member of the Defenders who were created by Tony Stark in this reality. However, Captain Marvel and the rest of these Defenders would die by an explosion caused by the sorceress Morgan Le Fay. But just like that, my friends, that wraps up our list. Some of you might be wondering how come there wasn't more Carol Danvers versions of Captain Marvel. Well, that's because she only just became Captain Marvel in 2012, meaning she hasn't had many alternate versions. She's had a bunch of Miss Marvel alternate versions, but this isn't an alternate versions of Miss Marvel episode. With that said, let us know what your favorite version of Captain Marvel is in the comment section. First up for Wednesday, March 6th, we have Star Wars Darth Vader Dark Vision 1. Darth Vader is riding a black horse-like animal with a lightsaber and an Empire shield. That's all I need to know. Next, we have the Green Lantern issue 5. Hal Jordan has abandoned the Green Lantern Corps to join the Black Stars. But to do so, he'll need to convince their leader and pass an initiation test. Here we have Meet the Skrulls issue 1. The Warners are your typical family. Dad works at Stark, Mom works in a senator's office, Jennifer and Alice are students at Stanford High School. The only problem is they're shape-shifting Skrulls. Now we have Immortal Hulk issue 14. In this issue, the husband Betty Ross thought was dead shows up at her door. But Bruce Banner hasn't come alone, he's brought the Immortal Hulk with him. And finally, we have Batman issue 66. Something or someone is forcing Batman to live through some of his darkest fears, amplifying the Dark Knight's anxieties and reimagining some of his worst traumas. And that's gonna bring another episode of Variant to a close, but remember to go to variantcomics.com/giveaways to enter for a chance to win one of 3 copies of Miss Marvel issue 1, the first appearance of Miss Marvel. Link for that is in the description, but we're also gonna leave a link for the mystery mail call in the description as well, as it's an awesome comic subscription box. So be sure to check them out. I'm sure you guys won't regret it. But other than that, I'll see you guys next time when I talk about all things comics.